All right, so answer this riddle for me. Monthly subscription model, social entrepreneurship, Harvard Business School, The Atlantic, eHarmony, and a luxury underwear club. What do all of those things have in common? Yeah, Jackie Sandberg. That's what they have in common. So make sure that you stick through this whole 30-minute show. Chat in at YFE Chat. Connect with other young female entrepreneurs. Introduce yourself on the chat on yfe.me/join live. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll see you on the flip side. Hi everyone, this is Jennifer Dono. I'm the host of tonight's Young Female Entrepreneurs live show. It happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern here at yfe.me/join live. And tonight's show, episode 48, is brought to you by Oval Eye TV. Oval Eye TV... Okay, well, I got rid of my sponsorship spiel, so I'm just going to tell you Oval Eye TV. Oval Eye TV is my company.
It's only your company.
We produce live events. If you go to ovaleye.tv, book a free consultation with me, and I'll talk to you about live streaming. It's super fun. I totally just redid our formatting in our little green room area, so that's my fault. Sorry about that, guys. But anyway, so tonight's show, we have Jackie Sandberg on as a guest. If you can show her image. She's incredibly accomplished. This woman has, achieved insane things, and I think she's like, and Jackie, I don't know if you want me to say this on live or anything like that, but she's like, how old she is? Yeah, she's saying 19. She's 30. Is that okay, Jackie, that I said that? Okay, good. The list is enormous. It's amazing. And so I'm going to go ahead and let her talk about a little bit of that. But one of the things that I did today was I've watched little pieces here and there about of her Harvard Business School address to the students. And I watched little pieces here and there just to learn a little bit about Jackie. And then today I watched the whole thing in its entirety. And the guy who introduces her says, you'll laugh, you'll cry, and you'll be inspired. And that's totally what I was. I was at the end, you kind of tear up a little bit, and then you leave thinking, okay, how can I do good? That's what she talks about. And so I'm really excited for you guys to be able to hear from her. I think it's going to be really inspiring and funny too. The girl is funny. I don't know if you guys have checked out her site. It's ditsies.com, DITSIES.com. If Stacy of hitthemicmarketing.com, she's our social media outreach go-to guru for the hour. Hopefully she can add in the URL so you guys can just click over to check it out. But they have a blog there that's really funny. Her Instagram photos are really fun. So I think you guys will really enjoy it. But before we bring her in, I want to talk a little bit about you. And so one of the things that we did at Young Female Entrepreneurs is change the way that you RSVP for the event. So last week we had Derek Halpern on with Laura Pepperwoo of 30 Day Books, and Derek Halpern has a very popular Social Triggers podcast. And so I've been thinking about, ways to make sure that you guys are reminded about the live event and making sure that it's very convenient for you. And so we did an Eventbrite, which is what all of our city coordinators use, an Eventbrite page to keep you reminded of our upcoming shows. And the cool thing about this is that you left your URLs, the websites in there. So we've been doing the YFE chats for a very long time on Twitter. And some of you, this is honestly, and I don't mean this in any bad way, I've just seen you on Twitter. I haven't actually clicked through to look at your website intentionally, but having the list of all of your websites there was pretty cool. So Rearder, I don't know if I ever pronounce your name right, so I apologize if it's wrong. You'll have to chat in and tell me if this is wrong. She's an interactive agency that specializes in front-end development. So that's her website. There's just a list of incredible women that participate in the live streams. Utoria.com, myutoria.com. it's a mother-daughter team, and Tori's actually 16, and she runs that company artisticky.com. That's Christina. I've got too many K's going through my mind right now. Christina, who's our city coordinator, she runs that website. She's incredibly creative and such a great connection to have if you check her out. Paper and Crush, very cool website. PenelopeSays.com, she comes to our chats and she's always hilarious. She usually talks about some kind of drink. Penelope Says is hilarious, and I actually looked at her website today, and she does website, teaches you how to launch your website and rock your online presence, is what she says. And I'm going to go through and talk about a couple of these people here in just a second. lm-llc.com, registered, and CoreyFreeman.me. Corey, I read your blog. It's pretty fun. I really enjoyed the new little formatting, and hopefully we can continue to do that as we go. But I really enjoyed it. You guys will have to tell me your feedback on whether or not you think it was easy to use or not. But we are on the hashtag YFE chat on Twitter. Hopefully we can put that down there. What is going on with my neck? Little weird things happening in studio. Okay, so we are on the hashtag YFE chat on Twitter and on Instagram, and so you can see Stacy's enjoying a glass of wine. And I saw in the chat that the wine people are on there. They emailed me after Derek Halpern was on drinking red wine, and I told them I purposely don't drink red wine, and I shouldn't say this right now. I'm not going to. I'll say it after the chat. It's okay. You're fine. Our guest is drinking red wine too, but she's beautiful, so it's not an issue for her. Not an issue at all. So I'm watching you guys, what you're looking like when you're watching the YFE chat on Instagram, and it's so fun. So I have a couple ones that you guys brought in for Instagram earlier in the day to show us what it looks like to be a YFE. Stacy at the Stacy Harris. Can you show the first one? Or I think it looks like this. Yeah. There we go. So Stacy is at hitthemicmarketing.com. She just released a new beta program, so you should check it out. It's at the hitthemicmarketing.com/beta, I think. You'll have to tell me, Stacy, if that's wrong. But congratulations to her. That's a big deal. And then we've got a few other ones that I thought were really cool. Can you go to the next one? I don't know. Okay. Sandy of Sandy Sidhu on Instagram. She's having Starbucks and working on getting Tech Savvy Club. I like that. And then Cami Lasinby, she's fantastic. She said in this, don't worry, you're not the only one. Julie and I are putting your Christmas decor away always before your guests come over. Clutter Experts is her Instagram. What's the next one? Then we've got the Logo Garden at Logo Garden, the Thursday Grind. Their office is beautiful, by the way, and they've got an office dog, the next one. So keep Instagramming in. It's just fun. Apart from the exposure from, bringing in our Instagrams on the live stream, it's just fun to be able to see what other young female entrepreneurs, what your day looks like. If you're in front of the computer all day, or maybe you're at a meeting or at a fun conference, it's just nice to see what you guys are doing. So anyway, let's go ahead and bring our guest on, because I talked for a very long time. So just to tell you a little bit about Jackie Sandberg, I don't know if we can throw her picture up on the screen. Jackie Sandberg is the co-founder of Ditsies.com, and again, that's DITSIES.com. A direct-to-consumer panty membership site that delivers designer underwear while donating a portion to charity. She's worked at both The Atlantic and at eHarmony.com and earned her MBA from Harvard Business School. Like I said, incredibly impressive. Thank you so much for being on the show with us tonight, Jackie.
Oh, no, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit about Ditsies.com. So just to give you some background here, we had Julie Siegel of DearKates.com on a while ago, and she manufactures this new kind of synthetic fabric that is very breathable, and she just sells like a normal retail on her site, sells the panties direct to consumer type of a deal. So what made you choose to go the monthly subscription route versus just doing a normal retail kind of a setup?
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with online retail, and like that's certainly like a way to go. But we wanted to stay really lean and very adaptive, and we wanted to be able to kind of respond to what our customers liked, what they didn't like, and so for us, subscription was kind of the way to go. And also, it's pretty like compatible with the product we're working with, like with panties, because you're supposed to like throw them out. Although I don't, I'm like a friggin' hoarder. It's disgusting. But you know, you're supposed to change them out after like 6 washes and stuff like that. So that was kind of the mentality. Was it was a good fit with the product, in that it would keep like the go-to market pretty lean.
Now you have a background in subscription models, really, because you were working at you were working at eHarmony prior to you guys just seeing some behind the scenes magic. Yes, we use Apple TV for our behind the screen. You were working at eHarmony prior to this, so has that helped you in any way? I mean, what tell us a little bit about how you got started with Ditsies.com. Where did the idea start? How did all of this come about?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking I should probably like call my old eHarmony folks and be like, let's do a cross promotion or something like kind of creepy and gross. Um, but that I think they would find that really value destroying or brand diminishing or whatever. But how we came up with Ditsies, actually, I was on my way to lunch to meet an old friend for lunch, and I saw a sample sale at one of my favorite retailers in New York. And so I was like really, really late to lunch, and like showed up with like this like Costco amount of underwear. And at lunch, you know, I was talking to my friend about how like kind of we call it prison rules, or like how unceremonious the process for buying underwear was. And that person I was having lunch with was actually like my old high school friend, Mickey. And so we were talking about online subscriptions and like what the pain points for purchasing were, and like what we would change, and that kind of snowballed into a business plan and into a prototype. And that's it. I wish it were a more magical story, but it starts with me being late to lunch because I have poor impulse control.
But don't all of us wish that we had a more magical startup story? That's always what you want to hear, is like the goods. Okay, I had this issue and this is what happened from it. But no, I think that was good. So let's go back a little bit further. You went to Harvard Business School and you gave the student address. Can you tell us about, I mean, was this all in the plans that you were going to go to Harvard Business School and then graduate with this MBA and start your own company? Or, I mean, where did the timeline fit in with that? What were you hoping to do with an MBA?
I don't know that I have the most like linear path there. I definitely had like no plans or idea or clue. It wasn't like this North Star I was always working toward. My older sister is like super, super, super smart and was like ridiculously genius, like almost perfect score on the LSAT. Really, really accomplished girl. And when she was getting like sicker, she suffered from breast cancer, and she had to drop out of school. I felt like a huge like fire under my ass to kind of make it up to her, like make it up to my parents. They're like, I don't know, it's probably like way too much information, but I know that at least for my dad, he's like first generation American. It meant a lot to him to have Harvard. So that was it's probably like the weirdest motivation, but it was really because I know my family needed it, like mentally. But I would have been fine and happy just with undergrad. But I mean, it just worked out that I don't know. Is this like the saddest tangent?
No, it's not sad at all, because actually it's very interesting. All right, so you didn't major in business or anything like that. You majored in
art history and neuroscience.
Yeah.
I thought it's all over the place.
But that's what I really was. I mean, that's why I loved your story. I loved everything about you, because you were so just. I think you're very kind of almost typical young female entrepreneur, where you're incredibly accomplished, very much a go-getter, and you're very okay. Well, you're shaking your head no, but that's what I saw from the outside. And then you have this really crazy story almost, where you were taking care of your sister, and you told a story during your speech that really reminded you, or talked about the failures and how to kind of move forward from that, and that your sister And I don't know if I should be bringing this on the live stream,
No,
but
please.
how
I'm so proud of her. I'm lucky to have had her. I could talk about her forever. So please go ahead.
well, you talked about the failure and that, we all make little things. We're all messy people, basically. And I forget who said that recently, too, in a quote. They were talking about playing messy characters. It was an actress, I think, that I'm thinking of. But anyway, you were saying that she asked you to read something to you, and you were busy kind of living your life, and that's a regret you have. And you're talking. The whole speech was very moving. And just as far as being living your life and doing good, I don't know if you can embellish a little bit on that, and what advice you would give to people. I guess I don't even know where my question is, other than the fact that I watched it and was incredibly moved by the idea that we have little failures. There's little things in our lives that will make mistakes, but to remember to always think of others first and move forward past that. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean that's kind of it. Like life is kind of sloppy and messy and fun and unsatisfying and scary at the same time. And while I was losing my sister, I felt so anxious about my career being derailed, and I uprooted from where I was living to be a caretaker, and I was such a little like yuppie hustler and had a career path and was on the rat race and then to give it all up to be a full-time caretaker, part of what I was so terrified about was, obviously her health, and how scary that was, but what this all meant and how was I going to be able to get back into the workforce, and how was I going to make a life for myself and provide for myself, and it's one of the things I'm still hard on myself about it. And I wish I weren't, it's part of like just being a human. But like work is you want to do what you love and you want it to be satisfying, but you do it, it's a means to an end. And the end is to spend time with people you love and to have like love and happiness and laughter in your life. And there were a lot of, I wouldn't say moments. I mean, there were a lot of like weeks, that I would lose sight of that, and I had this very real thing going on that would bring me back to reality, where it's like I would be so frustrated about my career, but then this person is fighting for her life, and it's so a lot of this speech, I have no friggin' idea how I got it. I was up against like these like army heroes, and I don't know. But part of the speech was like, you'll be preoccupied with doing well and making a name for yourself and being successful, and that's definitely important. But really, like when push comes, and I totally don't mean to sound like didactic and preachy and like I'm reading an excerpt from like Chicken Soup for the Soul or something. But at least for me in this time, what I learned was that like, really what matters is the people you love and being present for them and making sure how much they love you, you love them and they love you. I don't know. I'm like such a sap now.
No, I think I have to say, I think that's fantastic reminders, and you cannot hear that enough. Especially, I have a 2.5-year-old, and there are times where I'm just like, I have my phone, next to me all the time, and I'm answering emails, and every once in a while I'll come and grab the phone and say, no phone right now, mommy. And so it's good to hear those reminders, that to really focus on what's important in life. So in that sense, one part of what Ditzies.com really focuses on is giving back, and you very much embrace the social entrepreneurship movement. So can you tell us a little bit about logistics behind that? How are you able to give back, and how does that work?
Yeah. So each member or visitor to the site gets to kind of customize their own profile. So they specify what style of underwear they like bikini, boy short, thong, and then this sliding scale of color. And one of the things is which of two social enterprises do they want to support? And I guess on the back end, logistically, their profile is built a certain way. that they fall into certain buckets, and then we just like shave 10% off the top. Um, so it's not too complex on the back end. Um, on the front end, it was a little tricky because um, when you're thinking about like treating yourself and buying like nice lacy underwear that's custom to you, and you're going to get this like cute package every month. It was a little bit of a kind of creative tension to say like, well, now we're inserting like pretty heavy things like human trafficking and breast cancer research. But then we kind of defaulted to our thing where the whole idea behind Ditsy's is to like feel great about your underwear and like kind of like love getting this product on a lot of levels, on the delivery, on the packaging, on the product itself, and the pricing, all and a big part of that, at least for us, and that we decided early on, was kind of the paying it forward, supporting women entrepreneurs, and um, and the big sister stuff. What am I going to do? She's going to be all over the place for me, at least for a while.
Okay, well, let me ask you this then. So Birchbox is similar kind of business model. They've mentioned a few times in different interviews that their mission is to delight. They say delight a lot. So if you had one word to really describe what the reaction from you want to get out of your customers is, would it be delight, or would it be? I mean, what feeling do you want people to have when they receive your package?
Oh God, delight's so great. I can't. Now they have that word. Well, we have internally on the back end here. We say treat yourself, and I don't know if that's from us being that original or from us watching a lot of like Parks and
Yeah,
Recreation.
I love
Um,
that.
and being like
Treat
treat
yourself.
yourself.
Yeah.
Um, no, but I think it subscribes to a very similar mantra. I know Birchbox is more on the discovery of beauty and of beauty products and learning new stuff. And I think that's. I mean, I'm a Birchbox subscriber and Ipsy subscriber, and I am delighted. The difference with Ditsy's, I think, is well, besides the social enterprise stuff, is it's a different segment of good. There's like replenishment good, and then there's discovery good. Um, at least that's like the super kind of douchey business school jargon on the back end, where it's like, is it a good that you're constantly replacing, or is it you learning about new products? So um, yeah, so I guess the long answer to a very short question is treat yourself. Sorry. It's like the worst interview ever. I'm so sorry.
No, you're doing great. Okay, so let's talk about some of the marketing behind the treat yourself kind of mantra there. So you've been featured by a number of bloggers, and we talk about this a lot. We all want to get as many features as we can, as many links out there, as much exposure. How did you go about the process of getting people to write about Ditsy's? Because you're not that old of a company. You're pretty new. You're almost like brand new, right?
Yeah. I mean, we started on Ditsy's in April of last year, or in April, so we're almost a year old. But our site launched, not the beta, but the actual site launched in October. So it's only been like 4 months that we're fully live. Um, okay, so for bloggers, and I totally wish I knew this before, like any single person who came up to us or emailed us and said like, we'll feature you on our blog, we were just so excited and so I don't know, flattered and thrilled or whatever, that we would give away samples like Oprah giving out cars. It was not, not a good move. Like because we do such limited runs, we produce like 1.1, like 110%, like 100% of our subscriber list, and then 10% overage, and we would just like give it away really, really. Oh, here's a sample of this style and these two colors, and they like wouldn't write about it. And then it was like super awkward to be like, hey girl, how are your panties? Like, it's weird. So I know that that's like really tempting, and for us that was kind of like a faux pas that I wish we had known about early on. But now what we do is, I mean, we still get inbound, and we like love getting inbound requests. But we investigate and see if they've done other product reviews and who they've been, and then we also do some like analytics investigation, like see about the bloggers like Alexa score, and we vet them better than we did before. And beyond that, and I know this is like an answer I wouldn't want to hear, but old school networking has been pretty helpful for us. Like a friend of a friend's sister-in-law has a blog. And then there's some sort of like social accountability that like has helped for us. Like, oh, I went to Virginia for undergrad, and this friend of a friend of a friend, or if there's a blogger that you really like finding a common thread you have with them, or giving them a shout out. Like, I saw the review you did on Ditsy's, and I think that my product would be particularly relevant, and you could totally use my name if that's helpful at all. It's probably not. It'd probably get you a discount at Subway buying cookies, but that's about it. But if you're like, oh, Jackie said you did a great job with them, you should consider reviewing my site. Would you like a sample? I think like anything to kind of hook bloggers with a bit of accountability has been helpful. That's just my experience with it.
Do you go out and say, "Hey, will you write about me?" Or do you say, "Can I send you a sample?" I mean, how do you go about doing that? Do you actually ask for what you're trying to get out of it, or is it just an initial, "Here, why don't I send this to you?"
No. So we did a bit of column A and column B, and I think what we found most helpful was saying like, "Would you be interested in like the first paragraph being like how we are relevant for their readers and how their readers are relevant for us. And then if there's any, thin little thread of connection there over, with any, anything, touching on that, and then going into would you like to receive a sample? If so, let us know. We'd be happy to send you some. So they actually have to say like, yes, send it my way, and at least demonstrate some interest. That's been our kind of way of hooking them.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about because we're running out of time, and I don't want to end without going over this. How do you add? What's your big strategy, or what's the best advice that you would give someone? Because I know a lot of our young female entrepreneurs they want that passive income. They want people to pay every month, whether they remember it or not, with that monthly subscription base. What is your best advice for increasing those numbers to really making sure that there's enough people to make it worth the effort?
Yeah, I would say two things. One is figuring out figuring out like where your traffic is from, or where any aggregators of your interest group. Like if there's like for us, there's subscriptionboxes.com, and so we ask people who have subscribed to Ditsy's, who we've had like any sort of customer service email with, if they wouldn't mind reviewing us on subscription boxes, and that's been a big source of inbound for us. So finding a aggregator, but also like delivering a product that is worthy of word of mouth, delighting or treating or whatever, just kind of going above and beyond to make sure that people will stay with you and are always pleased to get you, would be my other piece of advice. I mean, the obvious easy answer is also incentivize sharing and social media, which is, which shouldn't be hard. There's like a ton of incentivized sharing things like buy one, get one, or spend $50, give $50, stuff like that actually is pretty helpful too.
Very cool. Well, I have to say that Ditsy's.com, I really, really like the idea, because there is something about buying underwear, having underwear show up at your door. And Corey Freeman at Corey Freeman is still saying, is anyone else, or am I the only one still stuck on, I'm supposed to throw out my underwear? And I wrote on Facebook that one of the reasons why I was excited about having you on and Julie Siegel is because I worked at Victoria's Secret in college. I was schlepping underwear, and I was doing I think I was a bra specialist is what my title was.
Hey girl.
And it was so much fun. It was something really special about opening up your drawer and just seeing lots of pretty stuff, and just, I don't know, it was something, it felt good. Yeah. It really was
it's an emotional
yourself.
Product. It's your like, it sets your mood for the day. It's like your first piece of armor against the world. I think that, I mean, I love the top drawer of my what's it called? Dresser. And Corey, apparently it's like some ridiculous percentage, like 65% or 80% or something like that of underwear is kept past expiration. I don't know what expiration is, but it's definitely converted me into a throw out, get new stuff type of consumer. So it's a good thing I'm in the underwear business. It is kind of weird to say I'm in the underwear business, though.
So, Julie, tell us a little bit more about where we can find you. Website, Twitter, Facebook, all of that fun stuff.
Me, Jackie?
Jackie, okay, yeah, sorry. Oh my gosh, Jackie.
No, it's okay. I don't know my own name either. It's cool. The site is Ditzies.com. We're at @Ditzies. We're a Facebook thing. I put pretty weird and probably brand destroying stuff on Facebook.
No, I think it's awesome. I look through it and it's fun. It's all just fun. It's treat yourself kind of stuff. It's fun. I like it.
Yeah, it's underwear. It's not supposed to be. And also, I don't want to see the Super Bowl Victoria's Secret show. I just ate like 42-layer dip. I don't want to see some Adriana Lima walking around in underwear. That doesn't make me feel good. So yeah, I'd rather buy it online. So that's the whole.
I think that we can all agree with that. So Julie, Jackie, goodness gracious. Jackie, thank you so much. I haven't been interviewing for the last month or so you're my first person I've interviewed in a very long time, and I really wanted to interview you because I liked your business. From
the Kathy Lee and Hoda School of Journalism.
I love it. And actually, okay, so let me tell you the joke really fast before I let you go. So she's on the chat. Where did she go? Wine people, if you're still on the chat, you need to chat in so I have your name. So she emailed me and said, hey, you'd really like my product. And it's about red wine and it's Wine and Shine. So it's supposed to eliminate like the wine ring, but I don't see nothing. You're all good. So anyway, Jackie, thank you so much for being on the show, and hopefully everyone definitely go and check out Ditzies.com. Fantastic product, really smart idea, and I really like that it gives back at the same time. It's all about the feeling and getting that product and feeling good about what you bought, so I like that. All right. Thanks, Jackie. So you've been watching...
So thank you.
Well, so Jackie is fantastic. Everyone check out Ditzies.com, especially with Valentine's Day coming up. Come on, ladies. Really fun. Make sure that your men know about it. Really fast before I let you guys go, really grateful for Raven at Raven Delena. Her site is ravendelena.wordpress.com. She wrote a blog post about one of our guests, Erin Anacker. She was back in December, one of our episodes, and she gave her goals on there. So if you guys ever want to repurpose a blog post, because I love to share our old or past guests, they gave some fantastic advice. I just don't want to be a broken record every time. And I like to be able to feature all of you. So if you write a guest post and include some information or like a question and answer that you have to a question that maybe one of our interviewers asked, just send it over to me in an email and make sure to share it with all of the community. So this has been Jennifer Dono with Young Female Entrepreneurs, the weekly live show that happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. We're going to have a YFE chat on Twitter right after this. I'm going to stay broadcasting, so we'll go ahead and do the quick ending, and then I'll come back up so I can tell you guys what's going on Twitter. If you don't want to head over to Twitter, make sure that you tweet out to Jackie and tell her thank you. And she really is. It's a very inspiring story, and her business is awesome. I really like the concept, and so make sure that you tweet out to her. Otherwise, I'll see you back here next Thursday at 6 p.m. Oh, our guests for February are awesome. Jackie's just the beginning. Really, really awesome stuff is happening in February, so stay tuned. I'll see you next Thursday. Thanks for watching.